This court is only being merciful to him. The court is minded to sentence the convicts to death. Consequently, and in the interest of justice, I hereby sentence the convicts to life imprisonment.
My Lord, we are preparing for the prosecution, my Lord. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let me say this. How many people are here as consultants to the convicts? Can you stand up before I call you? You have 3, 4? Okay. Can I meet you? Give them the microphone. You are legal consultants to the convicts. They were lawyers to the convicts before he converted them to consultants.
Yes, my Lord.
What is your name?
My name is Dr. Maxwell Opara.
Yes, the next person.
Hello, is my name.
Thank you.
P.A.M. Ejofo.
Prince Mandela.
Thank you. I just want you to be a record that he has a representative in court that will go and tell him, please, you may sit down.
Sorry, my Lord. My Lord, I don't have his brief to represent him here.
It's okay, you may sit down.
Azeko, please.
My Lord, we don't have his brief.
Why are you here?
We are here as consultants, my Lord.
I'm coming. This morning, when we started, you acted as consultant, you went to him, tell him what to inform the court. I have the video here. You moved from that place, you went to the convicts. You told him what to say. And I have to say this.
I have to take your direct instructions and directives.
But you are the consultant, are you not?
I am.
Thank you.
But we don't have his brief.
It's okay.
In the real sense of it.
So it's okay. I'm just telling you so that you go and send him tell him the sentence. And I must say this. It is becoming getting to a level that I have to say this. We must act professionally. It is unheard that a defendant will, even in the open, slap his counsel to keep quiet while he's talking. The counsel must not talk. This counsel was disengaged, and some of them were converted to consultants, and they come to court to act as consultants, and they are lawyers. And Ejimako acted as consultant this morning, and telling the court now that he does not have his brief. I'm not calling you as a lawyer. You have been converted to consultant that you ought to be, you oughted to be. Please, I'm just telling you, get the sentence to him. That is an order from this court.
Very well, my Lord.
You are already here. Your name is on the list as consultants. As consultants all along. While he disengaged you, most of you have been coming as consultants. And I have it on record. It's not that the defendant has no legal access. He has access to legal experts. Please, you may sit down. Thank you.
Yeah, my Lord, we're just concerned that we're not being put in some kind of legal jeopardy.
You may sit down, please.
Thank you, my Lord.
Thank you. Sentence. I read the entire file from the time the matter started in 2015. No doubt, the convict has not acted well throughout this period. He has caused delay severally. He caused delay and started crying that he's held unlawfully without trial. And also, his unruly behavior from the beginning down today, even today, is noticed. However, this court will not consider that in sentencing. This court is only being merciful to him. The court is minded to sentence the convicts to death due to the atrocity he committed. The convict has not shown any remorse whatever for his actions. He remained arrogant, cocky, and full of himself without realizing the magnitude of his crime and the effect of what he has done against his people in the southeast. I've listened to the allocutors made by the member of House of Representatives representing the constituency of the convicts. Although I'm not really persuaded, but I must temper justice with mercy. Consequently, and in the interest of justice, I hereby sentence the convicts to life imprisonment for the said counts 1, 4, 5, and 6 instead of death sentence. Life is sacred to God. With respect to count 3, he is hereby sentenced to 20 years imprisonment without no option or fine. For count 7, he is sentenced to 5 years imprisonment without no option or fine. To extend the mercy, I hereby order that the sentence shall run concurrently. And due to the nature of the offences that borders on terrorism and the attitude, violent nature of the defendants that I have taken judicial notice. The last adjourned date, he was so unruly and expressed violence, even was about to beat the security officers here. This morning, he repeated same. That has been his trait, his attitude. So I have no hesitation in coming to the conclusion that convicts has the tendency of violence. The tendency of violence has not left him.
Let's all go mad together. Because if we have now become a nation where we pardon criminals that our institutions fought hard to convict.
There are things that are happening in this country that a lot of you do not know. It is my duty to make that very, very clear to all of you.
Our places have been locked down for the past 4 years. Our mothers are being flogged in the marketplace in order to force them to abide to the sit-at.
What nation, I ask, do we have? But in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, people have been speaking. Some Igbo, top leaders came to Buhari last time to seek a peaceful resolution to the matter. No. Nnamdi Kanu is not being granted access to see doctors. That's why they never has no pardon access to see doctors. But all of a sudden, we are seeing all of this pardon flying around.
I have to say today, for the simple reason that she has no jurisdiction to try me. None whatsoever. I came out of courtesy and respect.
Abiding to the sit-at-home order given by this IPOB. Our children are being chased in their school places.
It is time to bring Nnamdi Kanu home from unjust detention. Some of them say they will call me back. Today they have not called me back.
Visitors no longer come to our place. Businesses are down. So we are in solidarity with each other, with the entire Igbo nation, to say no. Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB and ES, they do not represent the Igbos. We are crying out to the federal government. Don't release this young man.
Let me take you to Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu, his arrest. Why the government arrested him for 4 years behind bars? Is he a separatist, or he is someone who is fighting for the liberation of his people? Who are his people? The indigenous people of the Biafrans. If that is what he's doing and it is in the favor of the Igbos and the Biafrans, then why are some Igbos fighting it?
Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB and ES, they do not represent the Igbos.
And why are some Igbos asking, release Nnamdi Kanu?
It is time to bring Nnamdi Kanu home from unjust detention.
And others are saying this man shouldn't be released.
We are crying out to the federal government. Don't release this young man.
In this video, we are going to get deep into the video. But before that, remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and then feel free to go to the comment section. Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of the IPOB, the indigenous people of the Biafrans. 4 years being behind bars, arrested and being kept behind bars. Upon request to release him based on his health, he has not yet been released. And through his journey as a British Nigerian activist, and now to a level where he is being seen as one of the most controversial and one of the most difficult people in Nigeria. Is it by weapons? No, it is just by words of mouth.
She stands recused from my case and cannot try my case. There are things that are happening in this country that a lot of you do not know. It is my duty to make that very, very clear to all of you today, because the lies are too much. The lies are too much. I sent a petition to NJC. I don't want to talk about it. Justice Binta Nyako is using her position for personal gain. For personal gain. Her son and her husband are facing corruption charges. And they told them that if they convict me, this is what happens. You can see it. They don't want the truth to come out. Nobody wants the truth to come out. Nobody wants the truth to come out. Nobody wants the truth to come out in Nigeria. That's the problem.
Now, the beginning of all this is when he appeared on Radio Biafra, where he called for a separate space for the Biafrans, or a separate state for the Biafrans. And in appearance on the Radio Biafra, he called, or he advocated for a separate state for the Igbos. Okay, so now let's look at something here. This was in the favor of Igbos. It was something that was going to help the Igbos. Why are some Igbos fighting it? So he called for a separate state for the Igbos. And this dream that could have led us, in his vision, to the liberation and the freedom and the progress of the Igbos, now turned into a state of emergency.
What does Biafra mean?
It means freedom, liberty, fairness, equity, and justice. And even if Biafra means going back to where we were before the white man came.
Talking about total independence.
Absolute independence.
You said it's a peaceful struggle, but there are some videos of you appearing in the past, especially abroad, in particular in one conference in the US, where you said you need weapons to defend yourself, you need guns and ammunition. How can we understand that in the context that you're saying it's a peaceful struggle?
I'm sure you've heard about the Fulani headsmen killing people all over the place. Have you heard about it? Of course. Exactly. So how do you intend to defend yourself against Fulani headsmen without guns and bullets? They've been killing our people, raping our women, destroying crops in the farms, and no one does anything about it. Is that how human beings are supposed to live?
So, and you have the right to arm yourself and defend yourself with arms in that context?
Self-defense is recognized even by all the known laws of the UN. Is that not?
He was in Kenya at a point where he had to be moved. The Biafrans, the IPOB members, and they interpreted it to be a violation of human rights, which is to say the government is working hard, and it has led to them violating on the rights of Nnamdi Kanu Mazi.
The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has been arrested, extradited to Nigeria, and is right now being arraigned at the Federal High Court in Abuja.
And this happened in 2021. Now, from that time, different charges laid upon him, from terrorism to treason and to others. And as a result, he's been moving from one court to another, meeting different legal practitioners and people who are leaders in the legal field. And it is believed by all his lovers and his followers and the IPOB members that his release and his freedom has intentionally been delayed by the government.
The convict has not acted well throughout this period. He has caused delay severally. He caused delay.
Kanu is facing charges bordering on treasonable felony instituted against him at the Federal High Court in Abuja in response to the years of campaign for the independent Republic of Biafra through IPOB. He was granted bail in April 2017 for health reasons, but skipped bail after flouting some of the conditions given to him by the court. He has also been on the run since then after soldiers raided his father's residence in Abia State.
Now, upon all the charges laid against Nnamdi Kanu, the government struck out 8, leaving the rest, after which he was granted $2.4 million as a token to someone whose right has been infringed upon.
Matters and right in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where the Justice Binta Yanko of the Federal High Court, Abuja, today struck out 8 of the 15-count charge brought by the federal government against the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Delivering ruling on the validity of the charge, Justice Binta held that in this instant, preliminary objection application counts 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14 have not disclosed any offense by the defendant, while count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 15 show some allegations. The trial of the defendant is to proceed on those counts. The court also held that with the issue of proscription of IPOB, the case is still on appeal and it is still subsisting and until it is vacated. The IPOB leader is facing charges on treasonable felony and terrorism, offenses he allegedly committed in the course of the secessionist campaigns.
And this is what led the IPOB members and some of the Igbos who really believe in his dream to move out to the streets, calling out the release and the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, someone they look up to.
Cha iko kwenu. Cha iko kwenu. Wisdom. They have been on this now for the last 2 weeks, and that was the time that the God said all of us must become wise. And at the time of justice is now. When it started, if for those of you who have been following, I started by contacting Southeastern leaders. I called them one by one. Some of them I have their phone numbers. Say it's time for us to bring Nnamdi Kanu. It is the time to bring Nnamdi Kanu home from unjust detention. Some of them say they will call me back. Till today they have not called me back.
Dignitaries and people who also know the law and the legal systems also spoke about it. One said, in as much as he is being charged, he also feels that it is being too much, and he describes his acts witch hunting.
About the terrorism charges against Nnamdi Kanu is that they are also a witch hunting charge. Why I said so is because when you look at the ingredients of the offense of terrorism, you must be able to establish a direct connection between the alleged offense and the alleged offender. Currently, there is not even a single piece of material evidence connecting whatsoever that is happening in the southeastern Nigeria with Nnamdi Kanu as we speak. And even before now, that they are alleging that he made some communications that may have indirectly or directly influenced some activities in the southeast are all unproved. They are all tainted with a lot of speculations. Now, let me give you an example of how the law works. If you are alleging that Mr. A killed Mr. B, you have to present how Mr. A killed Mr. B. You have to bring up the real evidence used by Mr. A to kill Mr. B. Either it's a gun, either it's a knife, whatsoever it is, you have to bring it.
The government still hold their grips, keeping him behind bars or keeping him in their custody, even after the UN has come in asking for a proper trial, or even if it is not possible, he could be left to go scot-free. Meanwhile, people who love him and people who are members and his followers are also thinking and having a different perception from the government, thinking that this man is not a criminal. This man is a man who is only fighting for the freedom and the liberation of his people. So if Nnamdi Kanu is this man who is fighting for the liberation of the Igbos or the Biafrans, then why would some Igbos also go out there and advocate and also protest and tell the government to keep prosecuting Nnamdi Kanu, because he is denting the image of the Igbos and he is destroying and spoiling the name of the Igbos in Nigeria because they haven't sent him.
Meanwhile, a handful of protesters wearing branded t-shirts and carrying placards with photographs of victims of the unrest in the southeast occupied the gate of the National Assembly in Abuja, calling on the federal government to listen to calls requesting the release of the IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. They are calling the leadership of the National Assembly and President Bola Tinubu not to yield to pressure to discontinue the ongoing trial of the IPOB leader. The protest follows calls, especially from opposition leaders, for the release of Mr. Kanu, who is being prosecuted by the Department of State Services on a 7-count charge bordering on his alleged involvement in terrorism activities. He has remained in the custody of the DSS since his rearrest in Kenya and subsequent extradition to Nigeria in June 2021.
Our place has been locked down for the past 4 years. Our mothers are being flogged in the marketplace in order to force them to abide to the sit-at-home order given by this IPOB. Our children are being chased in their school places. Visitors no longer come to our place. Businesses are down. So we are in solidarity with each other, with the entire Igbo nation, to say no to this kind of deception. We don't want it anymore. We don't want this kind of deception. Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB and ES, they do not represent the Igbos. They do not represent the Igbos. The Igbos, the young people, the business society in Igbo land, we are crying out to the federal government. Don't release this young man. Let the rule of law be followed. Let him go through the normal processes. He's not standing for the Igbos. He's not speaking for the Igbos. The Igbos are law abiding in this country. We do businesses everywhere. His activities has caused pain. He has caused hatred. He has caused a lot of bigotry in our society. This is not what we stand for.
Now, after amnesty was granted to prisoners, where people were believing that Nnamdi Kanu could have been part of the people who will be pardoned by the government, which never happened that way.
The council approved unanimously for the different categories of the prerogative of mercy. The total is about 175. Of the total, email recommended for presidential clemency were about 82. Those recommended for reduced sentence for their terms of imprisonment are 65. And those recommended for reduced sentences from death to life imprisonment are about 7 in number. So the total number is 175, unanimously approved by the Council of State as recommended by Mr. President and presented to the Council by Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation. These are two items also deliberated and agreed unanimously by the Council. Thank you very much.
Rufai, a broadcaster in Nigeria, took the president on, and these are some of the things he said, based on the fact that why were some other criminals which are known to Nigerians released whilst Nnamdi Kanu was just a man fighting for the liberation of his people, and that man has been left behind bars.
Is free so that she can attend to her children. Your thoughts on the story, Rufai?
I like to talk with empirical facts.
Yes.
Presidential pardon, offense committed, October 2025. Drugs, 29.2%. Unlawful mining, 24%. Homicide, 13.5%. Fraud and corruption, 12.3%. Hijacking, 5.3%. Firearms, 2.3%. Robbery and theft, 2.3%. Human trafficking, 1.8%. You see, at this rate, let's all go mad together. Because if we have now become a nation where we pardon criminals that our institutions fought hard to convict, then President Tinubu, your next pardon, I have some names for you. You must pardon Lawrence Omajiakpo Anini. You must pardon Oyenusi, the criminal. You must pardon Shekau. Look at the joke Nigeria has become. You pardon all these people that have perpetrated heinous crimes, then you now have to drag the name of Herbert Macaulay in it to make it look legitimate. You now have to drag some of our founding fathers in it to make it, after you pardon all the criminals. Look at Farouk Lawan. There was a sting operation where the state security agencies, they were the ones that baited him with the bribe, the marked notes. He pardoned him. So what nation do we have? What nation, I ask, do we have? But in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, people have been speaking. Some Igbo, top leaders came to Buhari last time to seek a peaceful resolution to the matter. No. Nnamdi Kanu is not being granted access to see doctors. That's why they're not asking for pardon, access to see doctors. But all of a sudden, we are seeing all of this pardon flying around. So what lessons do we want for children, the generations yet unborn? A woman, we took the story here, planned the attack for good measure, also lacerated the husband's body. You say you talk to the woman's family before you pass. So the husband family, they have nothing. How will the husband family feel today?
And that's the right question.
See, the prerogative of mercy is expected that a president will be able to, dispense that prerogative reasonably. But as it is today, like somebody was saying today, I think they should be adding civil society so that we can circumvent the names brought forward. You see, our nation has just become a joke where anything happens. At this rate, we'll start pardoning certificate forgers if they will not even give themselves pardon already.
So other people people believe that one of the biggest issues that has ever happened in Nigeria, which led to the dying of millions of people, was ignited by Nnamdi Kanu based on a radio show or a radio program he started in Britain. Whilst he awaits trial, there were reports of the deterioration of his health and therefore asked to be checked by medical practitioners. And after the results came out, it was stated that Nnamdi Kanu is really having health issues, but that is not so serious to prevent him from standing trials. And this is what some legal practitioners have to say concerning that.
That's quite a surprising ruling today. We were served all of a sudden, as a matter of surprise, an ambush with the medical report, which the court ordered the Nigerian Medical Association to submit since 26th September. So that medical report that we were served is dated 13th October. And it was today that we were served in open court with it. So, well, you can say that the defense had no ample opportunity to react to it. It was more of an ambush. But nonetheless, the court had ordered further that Nnamdi Kanu be examined by the Nigerian Medical Association. That examination was never carried out, and the order was entered on 26th September and restated on 8th October. That part of the order was disobeyed. They never examined him. So the report is based on some informal meeting they held with Nnamdi Kanu as far back as 18th September at the DSS headquarters in Abuja. They were invited to do that by the DSS. The court and the DSS are not the same. So what we have in court, or what we were served in court today, quite frankly, we cannot be sure where it emanated from. Did it emanate from assumption, or did it emanate from the examination carried out on 18th September before the court entered an order on 26th September? So we were quite surprised, flummoxed, and we felt a bit disadvantaged, but the proceedings had to continue apace as the court wanted it. So at the end of the day, the court made a conclusion and a ruling that Nnamdi Kanu must enter his defense from the 24th of October and conclude his defense by the 30th of October. So basically, it's a 6-day trial window that we're looking at there.
So how fit is the defense now? How fit is the defense counsel, defense team particularly, entering the defense now? How ready are you guys?
Well, you see, lawyers are trained to be ready for any eventuality. But the justice of the matter is another case altogether. I choose not to comment on that.
Wait, we have to comment. Seriously, I'm one of. This is a public document brought in by the medical council through the prosecution. So they serve us this thing today. And if you watch there, in this particular medical report, you can see all the ailments they say that Nnamdi Kanu is suffering from. And surprisingly, somebody that has all these particular issues, you now, in the last paragraph, to say that from your own distance, he can stand trial. Somebody that is passing through all these ailments. Having said that, too, go to make a consequential order. Say, please, go and examine him and report back to me. They never examine Nnamdi Kanu. Only for them to come up with this report. Nigerian Medical Council, they should be very careful, because this is a professional body and you are expected to act professionally. In your report, you are expected, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm a practicing lawyer. You are expected to show that on this particular day, we obtained his specimen. We carried out this lab, and the lab showed this. We are talking about somebody's life, for goodness sake. You cannot just enter into your office room and you open your system and start writing trash. And you want court to rely on it. And surprisingly, we are expected to take a date for us to go. And because when the court gave us an opportunity to respond, we are ought to have taken a date to confer from our clients. Yes, it was when Nnamdi Kanu said, "What? We are the people that even gave Nnamdi Kanu this thing." When the court was about to sit, we are talking about somebody's life. Of course, as a matter of this thing, the Igbos are on trial. This is a war against the Igbos. Of course, you are here when the president ordered the police and the army to go and negotiate and have a discussion with the terrorists and the non-bandits in this town.
With their arms.
And somebody that is exercising his rights as given to him by the constitution, both local and international legislations, and you say that he should enter trial. Trial for what? What is it trial? What are you trying for? Do you have even jurisdiction? Does the court have jurisdiction to entertain this particular matter? Somebody that has been discharged by court of appeal.
I just want it to be a record that he has a representative in court that will go and tell him, please, you may sit down.
Sorry, my lord. My lord, I don't have his brief to represent him here.
It's okay, you may sit down.
As a please.
My lord, we don't have his brief.
Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also go to the comment section. What do you think about this?